So today's lesson is on How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead. Well, I've just made a video talking about this song and analysing it a bit and talking about why one chord in particular is so effective. So I'll put a link to that in the description, so please have a look at that if you haven't already seen it. Anyway, this one is just a lesson on how to play the song on an acoustic guitar. So for this, we're in normal tuning, but we need a capo on 2nd fret. So your string should sound something like this. There's two main sections to the song. On my notes I've called them A and B, but you could call them a verse and a chorus. I think that's kind of what they are. So the first thing we'll do is have a look at these two sections, and then I can talk about the structure and what else happens in the song. Also, because I put the capo on 2nd fret, I think the easiest way to learn a song when you've got capo on is just to refer to chords by what they look like rather than what they are. So just to explain that in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Say if I play a G chord, I'm calling it G because you play guitar, you probably know that shape and you know it's G. But because I've got the capo on and I'm actually playing 2 frets higher than I usually would for a G, it's not really a G chord anymore, it's actually an A chord. But if I call that A, it's a little bit confusing. So it's much better, I think, and you probably think as well, if I call that G. So the A section or verse is a C chord, standard C that everyone probably knows. Looks like this. So you've got nothing on the thickest string, then you've got 3, 2, open, 1, open. And for most of the chords in this song, we've got to like an additional thing which happens to sort of embellish them part way through. And on the C chord, the sort of embellishment is a C add 9, where you put your little finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, counting from the capo 1, 2, 3. So. And the rhythm, really for the whole song, is kind of a 12/8 stroke 6/8 sort of groove on this. And the way to think of that is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're playing in threes, really. And you could call it 6/8 by counting 2 lots of 3 as a bar, or we call it 12/8 by saying it's 4 lots of 3 as a bar. It doesn't really matter, as long as you think of it in threes. And for the 3 beats, try playing down, down, up, down, up. So it's 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and 3 end. And it's quite fast. You can use a pick, you can use your thumb, fingers, whatever you like with the right hand, as long as you're doing down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Like that. So we play the C chord, and you add the C add 9 just after the 2 strumming patterns, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, and then we're adding that one. I mean, you'll probably hear the rhythm if you know the song. Then we go to an E minor. Now normally I'd recommend playing E minor with these 2 fingers, but for this song it definitely needs to be your 2nd and 3rd fingers like that. So 2nd fret, 5th string and 4th string. And the little additional note which happens on this is a bit of a weird one. It's kind of a sharp 5, which is 1st finger, 1st fret, 2nd string. So that note. And that kind of ties the chord to the C chord a little bit that we've just played, because that is a C note. So obviously the C chord had that note in. And then kind of links it to that C chord, but it's also quite discordant. It really wants to be resolved back to an E minor. A lot of this song works so well because of this discordant sound that then wants to be resolved. So that main sequence is this. So I'll talk about the structure after we've looked at the main sequences. So that was the first sequence, let's call that A or verse. The second sequence, B, or maybe a chorus we could call it, is a G chord. The standard G chord that you probably know, but it's a 3-finger G, not the 4-finger one. But really want to use these fingers. You might be familiar with that if you've played lots of songs involving C's and G's, then often we would play G with these fingers rather than those. It's just easier to get to a C. So I've got my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, the thickest string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and my little finger is on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. The other ones are open. Sounds exactly the same as doing that. The reason we're doing it like this is because we need to do a little additional thing like we did on the other 2 chords, which is a G sus4, and that's where you add 1st finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret. I was talking earlier about the E minor having that additional C note which ties it to the C chord. Well, this G does the same thing. And when it goes to the G, it has a brilliant effect in the song. It's a real kind of uplifting effect. I talk a lot more about that kind of thing on the other video that I've put the link to in the description. And it's the E minor with the additional sharp 5 note added. And do the G to the G sus4 twice, and then the E minor to the E sus4 to the E with the sharp 5 twice. So like this. Second section. Right, so just talk about the structure quickly. We've got the A section 5 times. So C, C add 9, E minor with a sharp 5 times. Then we go to the B section, the G to E minor one. We do that twice. Then the A section twice, the B section twice, the A section twice, the B section twice. So that was 5 A's, 2 B's, 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 A's, 2 B's. Just reading off my notes. I'll put this structure in the description for you. And if anyone wants tabs, chord charts, and the structure and everything for this song, then just get in touch and we can arrange that. Then at that point, after the sequences I've just described, so we end up with 2 lots of the B sequence. Then the E minor, which is at the end of that B sequence, which is 2 lots, that twice in all of the B sections. That's what happens. Got G to E minor. Then you repeat the E minor to the E minor, the sharp 5 twice more. So there's just a little extra little section just off the end of that last B section. So I'm just going to play the last B section. Then we've got the C section, or the kind of middle 8 or bridge, or it's just a bit that's not a verse or a chorus, or not an A or B. This is just the best bit of the song, I think. It's one of the best bits of any song or any piece of music I've ever heard, I think. It's just brilliant, this bit. And this is mostly what my other video in the description is about. Anyway, so it goes to a D chord. Just sounds so good when it goes to this D chord. And what we do is stay on that, no extra bits, and that's an important thing about this. It's one of the reasons it sounds so brilliant at this point, is because it all just sounds harmonious, and just there's no discordant things in the background like there is for most of the song. It's just the D chord with no extra notes being added. It's just a D chord. E minor, and then E minor sharp 5 like before. And it repeats that. And this second D is even better than the first one. Listen to the song. Listen to how good that second D sounds in the song. Brilliant. after the E minor with the E minor sharp 5, the song ends on an E minor. And I think it keeps going on the E minor to the E minor sharp 5 a few times on the end, but final chord. And that's the chord it should end on, because we're in the key of E minor. Normally songs end on their key chord. So that is finally kind of resolved at the end of this kind of discordant song with all these strange sounds and things, sort of kind of unnerving sounds going on. It finally just resolves on an E minor. And that's it. That's the whole song. In terms of the strumming, I was talking about it earlier briefly. You can kind of mix that up a little bit, but mostly it does want to be that kind of rhythm. And the little additional notes like the C add 9 and the G sus4, E minor with the sharp 5. Those additional notes, they kind of come just after the first beat of the bar. So it's not... It's not quite on the first beat, just after. If you know the song, you're kind of probably already be able to just hear that. Any questions on this, please put them in the comments, and please suggest other lessons you want to see, especially if they're Radiohead things. But yeah, anything else you want to see lessons on, put in the comments, and please click the like if you liked it. Okay, thanks.